Hey everybody, Ash here with Gents with another fragrance review. I know I'm not sitting in the spot that I usually sit at. I'd rather just do it here today. It's a little more comfortable for me. So excuse my non-fragrance related background. Today I'm taking a look at a fragrance from the house of Masque Milano. This is one that I've actually had for quite a while. It is Hemingway, or homage to Hemingway. I got this one as a tester, so there's not going to be any official presentation part of this video. I'm just gonna go straight into the fragrance, talk about how it smells, and let you know if I think it's worth it or not. So let's go ahead and jump into this one, Masque Milano Hemingway. Before we go too deep into this review, I need to let you know that this was actually sent to me by Masque Milano a while ago. But as usual, that does not affect my review. If I don't like this, I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. If I do like it, I'm gonna let you know that too. So this one to me is all about the vetiver. It actually uses 3 different types of vetiver in the fragrance, and basically that means if you do like vetiver type scents, you should definitely check this one out. If vetiver is a note that for whatever reason just doesn't work with you, this fragrance probably won't work for you either. Off the top, this has a really interesting vetiver hit. It's zingy, it's smoky, it's aromatic, it's a little bit green, and within a couple minutes, rhubarb really starts to shine in this fragrance. And rhubarb is a note to me that's underutilized. It's a very interesting tart kind of scent, and it doesn't get used anywhere near enough, at least in my opinion. So the rhubarb here gives a tart, slightly bitter, brisk kind of undertone to the vetiver that you get right off the beginning, or right off the top. And that rhubarb blends with a really nice ginger note in the opening as well. So basically you have this rhubarb ginger kind of combination that's helping offset some of the denser, smokier feelings that you get from vetiver in the opening of the fragrance. Because on the one end you've got this dry, woody vetiver, then you have a lighter, brisker, tart rhubarb ginger combo, and they kind of play off of each other in the beginning part of this fragrance. And that kind of combination early on helps Hemingway become a more versatile, wearable fragrance. And in case you're unaware of what rhubarb smells like, it's got a semi-sweet, tart feeling. It's a little bit watery, and some people might compare it to the smell of strawberries. It does add a unique facet to the opening of Hemingway, but this really is, like I said at the beginning, all about the vetiver. That is the star of the show here. If you buy this, if you wear this, you're wearing it for that vetiver. In the mid, the rhubarb and the ginger get dialed back. Those are really most prominent and strongest in the opening. So once it starts to dry down, gets into the mid, those are not as prominent anymore. And the vetiver in the mid, as it heads into the dry down, starts to take on multiple forms. It's smoky, a little dusty, dry, a little bit spicy even. As well, there's even a touch of almost like the smell of soil, or a little bit like the smell of earth, a little earthiness, a little dirt. Not necessarily what I would call dirty, just a similar earthy kind of feel that you get underneath those dry, woody notes. So like I've been alluding to, Hemingway uses 3 different types of vetiver here. It uses Javanese vetiver, Haitian vetiver, and vetiver heart. So vetiver heart is a distilled form of vetiver. Essentially it's used to isolate the clean, dry part of vetiver and do away with most of the earthiness in the vetiver. But there are 3 different forms of vetiver here, like I just said, so you've got bits and pieces of basically the entire gamut of how vetiver can come across in this fragrance. You got a little bit of each part. And this fragrance online has caught some comparisons to Lalique Encre Noir and Chanel Sycamore. Those are 2 of the most well-known vetiver-centric fragrances out there. Basically, when you think of just a fragrance centered completely around vetiver, those are gonna be some of the first ones that come to mind. So it's not really a huge surprise that this has been compared to those fragrances, because vetiver here is the star of the show as well. Hemingway is easily on the same level as those fragrances in terms of being a high-quality vetiver fragrance, in my opinion. Encre Noir is probably the one that most people have smelled. Sycamore is a little more exclusive. Not as many people have gotten their nose on that one. In comparison to Encre Noir, Hemingway is going to be a little bit of a higher quality, and it's a little more of a smoky, spicy take on vetiver, at least in comparison to Encre Noir. Another thing about this fragrance, if you look online, it says that it's unisex for men and women could pull this off for sure, just like women can pull off Chanel Sycamore, but to me it leans more masculine than it does feminine. With all the types of vetiver in here, which is very commonly associated with men's fragrances, and then the leather note in here, which is probably what's imparting some of the smoke, along with those different vetiver variations in the fragrance, it just comes across as a more masculine type scent. And this one is also going to be a very versatile fragrance, at least in my opinion. This is one that you could pull off basically year-round. Vetiver to me is one of those notes where when it's used in the way that it's used in this fragrance, it comes across very sophisticated, very gentlemanly. It's something that you could wear formally. It's something that you could wear casually. Now, some people with this type of fragrance where it's very vetiver-centric may not want to wear it as casually as I might. But personally, I think you could pull this off just about any time. Vetiver is not one of those types of notes that comes across overly cloying in high heat. Now, if it was really hot out, I probably would go for something that's more refreshing, but you could pull this off in the summertime. And vetiver in winter works just as well. When it's really cold out, you can hit yourself with a very vetiver-centric fragrance, and that dry, woody, sometimes grassy, sometimes earthy type of scent can work really well. And as well, the smoke that comes through in here, while not being overpowering, it's not a ton of smoke, but it definitely has a smoky nuance, that's gonna work well in the cool weather as well. So basically, just suffice it to say, I think you could wear it year-round. But a lot of that's gonna be dependent on what you like to wear. If you're the type of person that in the summertime always goes for super fresh fragrances, very light fragrances, uplifting fragrances, then you probably wouldn't wear this in the summer. But if you have a more laissez-faire kind of attitude about it and you wear whatever you like, it's one that you could easily wear year-round. And also, this one for me, day or night, either one. It's just that type of fragrance that's easily worn. It doesn't really get pigeonholed into a specific time or place. I do think though that this fragrance is going to appeal more to people that are middle-aged and up. Much like Encre Noir, Chanel Sycamore, and a different type of scent, but still vetiver-centric, something like Hermes Terre d'Hermes. Fragrances like that typically don't appeal to guys that are, 20 years old, or 18 years old, or even 25 years old a lot of times. So Hemingway to me is gonna be more middle-aged and up. But if you're looking for a classy, sophisticated, gentlemanly type scent that you can wear casually, that you can wear formally, and you do like those 3 scents that I just mentioned, you should absolutely check this one out. It's one that I really enjoy, and so far I've not been let down by any Masque Milano fragrances that I personally have tried. Now, I haven't tried the entire line, so there's possibly some fragrances that they've released that I wouldn't like, but the ones that I've smelled are really, really nice, very high quality. You've seen a close-up of the bottle on the rotational platform, so you've gotten a better look of this thing, but I'll go over the bottle just really quickly. Since there wasn't a full presentation, I didn't have that whole part of the video to talk about it. Now, these bottles are obviously on the smaller side of things. This is a 35 milliliter size, so it's just slightly larger than a 1 ounce 30 milliliter size. The bottle does look classy, it looks really nice. We'll kind of move in a little bit and show you a close-up here. Yeah, so here we go. You can make it out a little bit better there. It says Masque in the glass right here. You have a little marlin or swordfish here on the front, and then Hemingway. Now these caps are very nice. They have a rubberized feel. They do click into place, so you can pick up the bottle by the cap if you want to. As you can see there. Can't really make it out with the lighting here, but there's an MM inside here from Masque Milano. Now here around the top of the bottle, you can see Hemingway, the name of the fragrance, and then the name of the perfumer right here, Fanny Ball. And the atomizer on these is really, really good. So check this out. I'll waste a spray for you. That is fantastic. Really, really like these presentations. I know it's a small amount of fragrance in here, but these are high quality. Now, performance on this fragrance is really good, which is a good thing because this is a 35 milliliter fragrance size. If it had really poor performance, that would be a huge knock against it. Because if you had to go through this and spray yourself 8 to 10 times and reapply through the day, you would get through this bottle like that. So the fact that it lasts, the fact that it projects, that's a big positive. So for me, 8+ hours easily. If I spray this on and head into the office, when I come back from the office, it's still gonna be there. The projection on me is not as beastly as the longevity is. Projects really well for about an hour and a half, then it starts to sit closer to my skin. Never turns into a true skin scent. It's not one of those fragrances where, you have to put your nose right next to your arm or wherever you sprayed in order to smell it. It just leaves a subtle scent cloud at that point. As you move around, people are gonna be able to pick it up, but they're not gonna be able to smell you from across the room. They're not gonna be able to smell you from 6 feet away. Overall though, that feels about right to me. It's a very vetiver-centric fragrance like I've been saying. It's a more refined, kind of sophisticated type of scent. And with something like that, you don't really want it projecting and assaulting the people around you. You just want it to give off kind of an air of confidence, an air of sophistication. And that's what it does, it pulls that off. So while I do really enjoy this fragrance, I think it's very high quality. If you don't like vetiver scents, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think that this one is gonna change your mind. I mean, this one is solely based on vetiver, 3 different types. So this is made for somebody that loves vetiver, somebody that wants to experience vetiver in all of its different facets and is intrigued by having a ginger, rhubarb, tart, bitter kind of contrast in the opening to the smokier, woodier, drier vetiver notes. So if you're the type of person that smelled Encre Noir and hated it, probably wouldn't spring for a bottle of this. But if you like vetiver as a note, or even really as a very dominant note in fragrances, absolutely check this one out. Nothing bad to say about this one. A+ quality, A+ fragrance. If you've smelled this one, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. All right guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.